All right, shalom everybody, and hopefully you're doing well and you had a blessed week. So, after the last study, we saw that it's hard to conclude from the evidence set forth in the scriptures that Yeshua is the legitimate Messiah, following down from his genealogy that's presented to us in Matthew chapter 1 and in Luke chapter 3. And furthermore, we went into this topic a little bit, but now we're really going to start a series that's going to expand on it. And this series is going to be called Fulfilled Scripture Out of Context. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking a look at the prophecies that Matthew is trying to claim that Yeshua fulfilled. And then as we're going forward, we're going to take a look at the other ones throughout the New Testament writings that they claim were fulfilled by things that Yeshua did. And we're going to see if they fit. So the first one that we're going to be dealing with is the prophecy of Immanuel, God with us. And we're going to go in and we're going to really flesh this one out, and we're going to see if it indeed fits. So here's the verses from Matthew chapter 1, 22 and 23. And all this was spoken to be in order to fill what was... let me start over. And all this came to be in order to fill what was spoken by the Lord through the prophets, saying, See, an Alma shall conceive, and she shall give birth to a son, and they shall call his name Immanuel, which translated means God with us. Notice that it doesn't even give credit to which prophet it says spoke these words, but it is the prophet Isaiah, and it's in Isaiah chapter 7. It just said, spoken by the Lord through the prophet. Didn't even give the credit. So, Isaiah chapter 7. So let's go ahead and get some further context in regards to this by taking a look at Isaiah chapter 7. And we're going to read a whole bunch of context, and you're going to see something, okay. Isaiah chapter 7, starting at verse 8, going through chapter 8, verse 4. For the head of Aram is Damascus, and the head of Damascus is Retzin. And within 65 years Ephraim is to be broken as a people. And the head of Ephraim is Shomeron, and the head of Shomeron is the son of Remaliahu. If you do not believe, you are not steadfast. The Lord spoke again to Ahaz, saying, Ask for a sign for yourself from the Lord your God. Make it deep, the request, or make it high. But Ahaz said, I do not ask nor try the Lord. And he said, Hear now, O house of David, is it not enough that you weary men, that you weary my God also? Therefore, the Lord himself gives you a sign. Look, the Alma, or the young woman, conceives, present tense, and gives birth to a son, and shall call his name Immanuel. He eats curds and honey, when he knows to refuse evil and choose the good. For before the child knows to refuse evil and choose the good, the land that you dread is to be forsaken by both her sovereigns, kings. The Lord brings on you and your people and your father's house days that have not come since the day of Ephraim turned away from Yehuda, the sovereign of Ashur. And it shall be in that day that the Lord whistles for the fly that is in the farthest part of the rivers of Mitzrayim, and for the bee that is in the land of Ashur, and they shall come. And all of them shall rest in the steep ravines, and in the clefts of the rock, and on all the weeds, and in all the pastures. And in that day the Lord shall shave with a razor, hired beyond the river, with the sovereign of Ashur, the head and the hair, and the legs, and also remove the beard. And it shall be in that day that a man keeps alive a young cow and 2 sheep, and it shall be that he shall eat curds because of the plenty milk he gets. For everyone left in the land shall eat curds. And it shall be in that day, every place where there were 1,000 vines worth 1,000 shekels of silver, let it be for thorn bushes and weeds. With arrows and bows one shall go there, because all the land shall be thorn bushes and weeds. And to all the hills which were tilled with the hoe, you do not go for fear of thorn bushes and weeds. But it shall be for the sending of oxen too, and a place for sheep to roam. And the Lord said, take a large tablet and write on it with a man's pen concerning Mahir Shalal Hashbaz. And let me take reliable witnesses to record Uriah the priest and Zechariah, son of Yeberechiah. And I went into the prophetess, and she conceived and bore a son. And the Lord said to me, call his name Mahir Shalal Hashbaz. For before the child knows to cry, my father and my mother, the riches of Damascus and the spoil of Shomeron is taken away before the sovereign of Ashur. So we can see here that from the context that the prophecy of the young woman, the Alma, was fulfilled at the time of Isaiah. The child actually had the name Immanuel, unlike Yeshua. It's claiming that Yeshua was fulfilling the prophecy of the child named Immanuel, and yet his name was not Immanuel. But we see in Isaiah chapter 7 that a child was born whose name was Immanuel, and that it was a prophecy of coming judgment against the nation at the hand of Ashur. This prophecy had absolutely nothing to do with a future messianic fulfillment. It is exactly like when you read in Hosea, when Hosea was told, you're going to take a wife of whoring, and you're going to have children with her. And the children's names are like, Lo Ami, not my people, Lo Ruchama, no mercy, for I will not have mercy on the house of Israel, and they will no longer be my people. It is exactly that context here in Isaiah. Isaiah and Hosea were contemporaries. They prophesied at the same time to 2 different houses. But unlike Hosea, getting a wife of whoredom, Isaiah had children with a prophetess, one that is pure. But what they were saying is that this child's name will be Immanuel, for God is with us. This won't happen. Remember the passage, the temple of God, the temple of God, the temple of God. This will never come upon us, for we have the temple. He said, you think that God is with you, but God is not with you. And these judgments will surely come to pass on you. And the child that you named Immanuel, I'm going to call Mahir Shalal. This is the harder one. Anyway, Mahir Shalal Chaz Ba'az, which means swift is the booty, speedy is the prey. We're coming for you. That's what Ashur said. Ashur is coming for you to take you away swiftly and speedily. So this is the first prophecy that we see in Matthew. And we see that it is taken out of context. Matthew records a genealogy, and we saw that there's problems with Yeshua being a descendant of Yechaniah because of the curse that was put on him. But more importantly, we see that this first prophecy is taken out of context. And furthermore, when it comes to Yeshua's genealogy, to fulfill the covenant that God made with David, that it was going to be his seed that would always sit on the throne, it would have to be passed from father to son, father to son, father to son, which means he would have had to have an earthly father of the correct lineage in order for Yeshua to actually have been the Messiah. Unless God is from the tribe of Judah and a descendant of King David, then there is no way that if God was the father of this child and he had no earthly father of the lineage of King David, that Yeshua could have been the Messiah. So this is the first part, and we will be recording and posting additional studies as well, talking about the misappropriation of scriptural verses and prophecies by the gospel account known as Matthew. Shalom, shalom.